and I am checking in because I'm going to start doing weekly counseling videos for you because I miss you and because I hope that it will be a little bit of help during this time, which can be a little bit stressful, difficult, and maybe even lonely for some of you. So I'm going to be here and we're going to be doing different things together, some activities. I'll remind you of some really important counseling lessons. We might do story time and maybe just drawing time. Just a moment for us to connect and for us to be able to stay in contact with each other, even just a little bit when we're not at school. So I'm really, really excited to be doing this. I might not be perfect at it, but hey, maybe I'll be a YouTube star one day. So what we're gonna start with today is a little activity that's called In My Control. And that is because if you've ever had this lesson with Miss Farmer, you know that sometimes the things that stress us out the most are things that are out of our control. So we're gonna learn a little bit about that today, just because when we're at home and we're not really able to connect with our friends and our teachers and maybe even some family members like we're used to, it can feel really uncomfortable. And you might be having a nice and fun time at home, but maybe some of you are feeling a little worried or a little scared even. So hopefully this lesson will help you feel a little bit more in control and a little bit more grounded. So all we're gonna do to start is need a piece of paper and a clipboard or a table, whatever you have. We're gonna need some markers or colored pencils or crayons. Once again, whatever you've got is fine. And I'm gonna be doing this activity along with you. You are welcome to pause the video whenever you want if you need more time, because I'll probably go through it kind of fast. Okay? So, first things first, we are going to need to trace our hand on our piece of paper. Make sure you spread your hand out like this when you trace it. Don't put your fingers together like that. We want a nice big open hand. So, I like to start with a pencil and trace my hand. Obviously, hold your pencil in the hand you normally write with and trace the other hand, okay? So, I'm gonna give that a go and you do it along with me. Feel free to pause right here while you gather all your materials. Okay, and I'm tracing. It doesn't have to be perfect, guys. Tracing my hand all the way around, making sure my fingers are spread out nice and wide. Okay, and you can kind of make yourself a little wrist at the end. Okay, if you traced it in something nice and dark, then you're good to go, but I traced mine in pencil, so you can see I'm gonna need to go over it with marker or crayon or pencil, colored pencil, something to make it a little more bold. So, I've got my pink marker, I'm gonna go over my hand. Okay, fantastic. Now, this is what we should have, something like that. So, what we're gonna do now is we're going to start thinking about all of the things that we can control. And we're gonna brainstorm, and then we're going to write them inside our outline of our hand, okay? So, this can be a little tricky. I want us to really think deep about all the things that are 100% in our control. And to get us started, I'm going to give you an example. So, something that is always in my control is the way I speak. And that includes the things I say, my tone of voice, what I choose to talk about, how I communicate with my friends and family. Okay, so what I say is 100% in my control. So I'm going to write that down inside the outline of my hand. I'm going to use a blue colored pencil. I'm going to write it along one of my fingers. Okay, what I say is in my control. So what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video and I want you to see if you can think of other things that are in your control. Okay? You can pause. I'm going to keep writing and we'll meet back here in a couple of minutes. Okay? Welcome back. All right. Are we ready to share? So I'll tell you what I wrote inside my hand. So the things that are in my control, 100%. I'm always in control of them, even if I feel like I'm not sometimes. My attitude, what I say, what I do, that includes my behaviors, my actions, how I think. Now remember, this is really important to Miss Armour, that our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions are all connected. So we can control our own thoughts. Similarly to how we can control our own behaviors. So you might notice that sometimes you have a really negative thought. For example, I'm never going to get better at reading. Or this is the worst thing that has ever happened. When you have those negative thoughts, you might feel like you're not in control of them, but you can always stop and rethink and change those negative thoughts into positive thoughts. Thoughts like, I will get better at this one day. If I keep trying, I will learn more. I might not feel like my friends think I'm funny right now, but I know that they care about me. Okay? We are always in control of those thoughts. Other things that I put down on my hand are my behaviors and my hands, because we're in control of our hands, and it's really important to remember that right now when we're supposed to be washing our hands, staying clean, avoiding touching our face, just because we're trying really hard not to spread a virus around. So we've finished writing down what we are in control of. Now we're going to think about things that we are not in control of, and we're going to write them outside of our hand. And that's because things that we are not in control of, are out of our hands. Okay? And that's hard to remember sometimes. But if we do remember that, hey, this is not in my control, it's out of my hands, that'll help us focus on what we can control. So we're going to write down things like, let's see, I'm not in control of the weather. And that can feel frustrating sometimes when we really want a sunny day and it's rainy and cloudy. I am not in control of the future. So we might want to know exactly what's going to happen and exactly when we're going to go back to school, but we're not in control of that. So that's out of our hands. So I'm going to also write down, I'm not in control of when we go back to school. Let's see. I am not in control of my parents. This includes that I can't control what they do or what they say or what they make me do, right? So I'll write down my parents. I might write down my siblings, so my brother or sister. I'm not in control of them. I'm also not in control of my friends. I'm not in control of my friends' feelings, what my friends do or say or think. So that's really important that we remember that, because that can be the cause of some stress in our lives usually. We really want our friends to do a certain thing. We really want them to feel a certain way, and we really want them to say certain things to us. But we're not in control of that at the end of the day. So I'm going to write down my friends. It's also important to remember that we're not in control of the past. It means we can't change the past. Even though maybe sometimes we wish we were time travelers, we're not. So sometimes we might feel frustrated or guilty or regretful about something that happened in the past. Maybe a thing that we said that we didn't really mean to say, or something that happened that we feel bad about. It's important to remember that's out of our hands. And so when we're feeling worried or stressed or upset about it, we need to change our focus, take our focus away from the things that are out of our control and put our focus on the things that are in our control. So I'll write down the past. Okay. You can come up with as many things as you want, because there are so many more things that are out of our control than in our control. So if you take some time to fill up your paper with things that are out of your control, and maybe you can get creative and think of some more things that are in your control. Maybe things like your smile, your hugs, compliments that you give, those would all go inside. So once you've had some time to fill up your paper, then you can take a minute to focus on those things that are inside the hand and really effortfully push aside the things that are outside of your hand. And when you're feeling uncomfortable or bad or stressed, get the piece of paper out, look at what's inside the hand, and pick something to do that's inside the hand. And it's gonna make you feel better, more in control, and more purposeful. So if you wake up feeling worried or nervous or upset, look inside and think to yourself, okay, I can control my behaviors, my thoughts, my feelings, my words, my actions. What's something that I could do today that is included in here that will help me feel in control? And it might be that you decide you're gonna go help a family member, do something nice around the house. Maybe you're gonna give someone else a compliment or a smile. Maybe you're going to have a positive thought, like, I can do difficult things. I am tough. I am strong. What I'm going through right now is not easy, but I know I'll get through it and I'll be okay. I have friends and family who love me and care for me, and they will help me if I need help. Those are positive thoughts that we can have, that we can replace our negative thoughts. Because sometimes those negative thoughts can get really tricky and sneaky and sneak up on you before you even know it. So I hope that this activity was helpful. Mangum Explorers, just know that we miss you so much, and even though we can't see you at school, that we're still here with you and thinking about you all the time.